Alrighty, well, hello sinners. How are you? So, there are a lot of interesting subcultures on the internet. It's safe to say that there's a community for everyone. If you have a weird or funky or obscure interest, I guarantee that you will find at least a dozen other people who enjoy the exact same thing you do. But one internet subculture that equally perplexes and terrifies me is incel culture. Now, I'm sure you've heard the term incel thrown around here and there, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, an incel is a member of an online subculture of people, mostly men, who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one. Now, I was doing some research before going into this video on the incel community, and apparently the term incel has been around since the late 90s and early 2000s. In fact, this article I found states, over the past 2 decades, the incel community, which numbers somewhere in the tens of thousands, has fallen under the sway of a profoundly sexist ideology that they call the black pill. It amounts to a fundamental rejection of women's sexual emancipation, labeling women shallow, cruel creatures who will choose only the most attractive men if given the choice. Taken to its logical extreme, the black pill can lead to violence. The mass media has focused on the risk of more mass killings like Toronto and others before it, and that is indeed a serious concern. But the focus on incels as potential risks missing a more subtle threat, that they will commit acts of everyday violence ranging from harassment to violent assault, or simply make the women in their lives miserable. Yet, incels are not merely an isolated subculture, disconnected from the outside world. They are a dark reflection of a set of social values about women that is common, if not dominant, in broader Western society. The intersection between this age-old misogyny and new information technologies is reshaping our politics and culture in a way we may only dimly understand, and may not be prepared to confront. So in other words, they sound great. The Toronto mass that they refer to in the article is when a self-proclaimed incel drove a van into a group of pedestrians on his college campus. He killed about 10 people and injured 16 others. This article also references the Elliot Rodgers case, who was also a self-proclaimed incel. I will not be going into the details of that case in this video. However, if you want to do your own research on that, you're more than welcome to. Upon further research, I learned that incels also have a very intricate glossary of words, such as like Chad or Stacy, alpha male, beta male. I don't know, it's very complex. It's a very dark and twisted internet rabbit hole to go down. Would not recommend. And this brings us to the video we'll be reacting to today. And the video in question is called I'm an Incel, Ask Me Anything. And this is from the Jubilee YouTube channel. Basically, Jubilee invited a self-proclaimed incel named Derek, along with a bunch of random people, to ask Derek questions about his thoughts on women and the incel community in general. So, this should be good. Oh, also, Happy New Year! I didn't think 2021 would start off with me talking about incels, but hey, anything could happen, you know? There's never a dull moment on my YouTube channel. I think it's safe to say that. So with that being said, let's take a glimpse into the mind of an incel. Not that we wanted to, but we will be doing that today. You know, maybe, you never know, we could walk away from this video pleasantly surprised, relieved, overjoyed. Don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know. You know, I'm going into this new year with optimism. I'm gonna regret saying that. Anyway, incels, let's go.
If you could summarize your opinion towards women?
Like what I think of them?
Yes.
I do think they are very important, but...
Oh, no. Oh, Derek, sweetie, we're already off to a rocky start. If your sentence starts with, I like women, but, or I'm not racist, but, stop it. Stop the sentence immediately. Don't finish the thought. Put the brakes on it. Shut your mouth. You know, are great, but I don't like the sound of this, but anyway, let's continue.
Either the subjects are inaccessible or people are uncomfortable discussing them.
If you're an ugly guy, you better get a good job and make some money, because nobody's gonna want to talk to you.
Girls, I will destroy you.
You don't deserve to get laid at all!
They seem very nice. I wouldn't want to be alone in a room with any of them, if I'm being honest, but I'm sure they're lovely gentlemen.
Okay, Hey, I'm Brendio. I also go by Derek. I'm an incel, and I'm here to answer people's questions about the topic.
I appreciate the smooth jazz in the background to like kind of break the tension, break the awkwardness up a little bit. Good call, Jubilee. Good call.
So you're an incel.
Yes.
Why would you ever sign up to do this?
I suppose I would want to give more of a positive light on this community, which is a very negative light upon it.
Okay. And do you think that's a good thing?
Yes,
Why is that?
because a lot of the boys in this community aren't bad people.
But you acknowledge that a good handful of them are, right?
Not a good handful, I would say a small handful.
I don't know if I'd call a large group of mainly men who hate women and blame them for their own shortcomings as good people, but you do you, I guess, Derek. We'll have to agree to disagree. For now.
Who hurt you, or what happened? What event sort of catalyzed this way of thinking and you getting into this kind of research?
Society.
Oh my god, her face at the end of this clip. You can tell she's already done with the interview. But getting back to the topic on hand, Derek is blaming everybody except himself for partaking in the incel community. Buddy, you gotta take responsibility for your own life. You ultimately made that choice to become an incel and join this community. Don't blame us, baby, that's you.
Do you hate women?
No.
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 That's great and all, but this question is shortly followed up with this.
If a woman was elected as president of the United States, how would you react?
I don't know. It probably would depend on the woman. I probably wouldn't be supportive of it, honestly, but
He's definitely the kind of guy that's like, women are so dramatic, they'll be PMSing on their period and start a world war. Meanwhile, who have been some of the most traumatic historical figures? Men. Let's use King Henry VIII as an example. He would divorce his wife and marry someone else every time he had a daughter. That's pretty dramatic if you ask me.
Why do you say that, if you don't mind me asking?
I do think that, men should be the leaders and women should be the caregivers and the loving, supporting, and the teachers in some cases.
Oh, Derek, honey, this isn't the 1800s, okay? Women don't have to do and neither do men. Now, if a woman voluntarily wants to be the homemaker or the caregiver, then that's her choice. As long as everyone in the relationship is cool with that dynamic, then that's great. Do what you want to do. But forcing women into this box of being a caretaker or a homemaker, teacher, whatever, it's archaic, it's old news, okay? Women are just as capable of holding positions of power just like men.
Women of color, or just women in general, have been oppressed by certain systems and other oppressed communities, especially the LGBTQ+, all those don't really fit with the spectrum that incels or you have been talking about. So why do you think your method of thought would help fix what we have today?
That's actually a really good question that she brought up. So, Derek, you better watch yourself here.
I probably wouldn't view the things that you might view as oppression as oppression. I have a feeling.
Jesus, Derek. Oh my god. Whoever this girl is on the left, I am right there with you. Holy. Let's make one thing clear, Derek, alright? Just because you're a crusty white guy who can't get laid, that doesn't mean you know what oppression is, okay? Got it? Good. So, oppression isn't real just because Derek said so. Great. King of knowledge right there. Really, lot of brain power right there, Derek.
I would view it more as how we treat children that we love. We control them, but we control them lovingly, not as a slave, not as we're forcing them to do things against their will.
Am I hearing this correctly? Did this man just compare women to children? How insulting is that to the intelligence of women everywhere? So he wants his potential girlfriend, or I should say hypothetical girlfriend, because we know he's not getting it anytime soon, submit to him like she's a child? I am actively losing brain cells as we speak, and I want them back. Give me my brain cells back. Give me my brain cells back right now. Since me and every other woman watching this right now is considered a child according to Derek, then goo goo gaga.
I would view it more as a loving domestic thing in the past. And I would say that if we were to do it in a civilized way, maybe in a more, even a Christian way, even though I'm not really advocating for a certain religion or ideology, I would assume that women would probably be happier.
In what world would a woman be happy with that setup? Can someone fill me in on what alternate dimension that would be so me and every other woman in the world could avoid going there? You can tell this is the longest that Derek has talked to a woman in his life just based on the utter that's coming out of his mouth.
And I wouldn't just assume that blindly, I would assume that based on the data that I have seen.
What data have you seen that has brought you to this conclusion? Because I'm now curious where I can get this data from.
I couldn't reference it offhand, but I believe there was a study that I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay.
You know, I'm sure we'd all love to see this data too. Also, I hate to break it to you, Derek, but your Discord server and echo chamber of other incels on Reddit do not count as reliable resources. Thank you.
What do you think it is about liberal areas that create behavior in women that you think is a problem?
Promiscuity leads to...
Oh my god! Me and her had the exact same reaction just now. Oh, God forbid a woman wants to get her cheeks clapped. Jesus, that's such a crime? People like him just don't want women to have fun if they so choose. We just had this discussion about purity culture and how bad it is in my last video, and I just want to say again, it's old, it's done, let's put purity culture in the past, please. Oh my god! You're giving me agita, Derek. I'm being real with you.
Promiscuity leads to increased standards in more primitive aspects such as looks. And that typically makes it harder for some people to find a relationship, including sometimes good-looking people.
Okay, hold on, wait a moment. So these men, these crusty virgins, I can't say that. So these men want to set astronomically high standards for how women should act, dress, behave, whatever, but women can't give the same energy back? So women have to settle for what exactly? Misogynistic assholes on the internet who think they're entitled to attention and sex from every woman they set eyes on? Give me a break. F that.
There's guys who are much better looking than I am who are having a really hard time finding someone in a place like LA or in London or in Auckland, New Zealand, but they probably would have a perfectly fine time finding a woman somewhere else.
Maybe consider the fact that looks aren't everything, and a repulsive personality can take away any and all attractive features from someone. You are going to come across superficial people everywhere, yes, that's inevitable, but still, no one has to settle for everyone, and you are not entitled to someone's time or attention.
So you think that promiscuity is the problem, and if people were more monogamous and more withholding, that would sort of fix society?
Yeah, I suppose people were more traditionalist.
Did you hear that? Sex is destroying society, guys. To all you premarital sex enthusiasts out there, it's your fault that Derek can't get laid. If he can't have sex, then no one can. So in this next part, they're going to be discussing mass shootings involving self-proclaimed incels, and if that is a subject that triggers you, then you could skip to this timestamp right here.
There have been a few mass shootings in the past where these shooters actually stated that they were incels or were radicalized by online incels. What do you think about their actions?
I condemn their actions. I don't believe violence is the solution. I don't believe attacking random people is going to fix anything, whether they're, women or men. I do think that the reason why they committed those actions was probably because of out of desperation or out of, mental problems that probably could have been prevented had the right support was in their community, in their household. If people saw what they were posting and saw what they were experiencing in life and did something to help them.
I understand when he says that the desperation of the people in his predicament can lead them to being in a bad state mentally. As creepy as incels are, I'm sure it's a very lonely spot to find yourself in. But let's make it clear, and I don't want anyone to twist my words on this, that is not an excuse to commit acts of violence and to harm the people around you. It's not okay. Okay, people lose their lives because of this. In that case, you're taking your own pain and suffering out on the people around you, and that has a permanent effect. Not only does it affect the people who you committed that act of violence against, it also affects the family, friends, and community for years to come, and the incels who do commit acts of violence against others deserve to rot in hell, and I hope they get the justice they deserve, because that's disgusting. Again, I know he's not condoning it, I'm just adding to his point, and let me make it clear one more time, being an incel and having that loneliness and isolation inside you is not an excuse to harm the people around you. I hope I made my position on that as clear as possible.
Was there like a pivotal moment in your life, like a straw that broke the metaphorical camel's back?
You know, it's constant years of rejection, no matter who the person was, constant years of rejection in other aspects of my life. It did kind of push me towards more, I suppose, radical beliefs, but I suppose they're only like radical, but they're more just old beliefs, really.
When you put yourself out there in the dating pool, you are signing up for the possibility that you might get rejected. Okay, rejection's a part of life. No one wants to get rejected. It sucks. It's ironic how Derek and people like him continue to make degrading statements about women, but at the same time they expect every woman they come across to worship the ground they walk on. It's just very funny to me.
Do you believe that you deserve sex or intimacy from a woman?
I think everybody at some level deserves someone that loves them and, you know, respects them, as long as you are also loving and respectful towards that person. You know, they're an equal. You know, you're not like seeking someone beyond yourself. You know, you don't have like too high standards, I suppose.
I'm a little confused about the respect part, because wasn't he comparing women to children like 3 minutes ago? How can you demand respect when you don't give it back? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
If you can tell the world about something about being incel that, you know, that may not be in the internet or that's overlooked heavily, what would it be?
I don't know. I think it's mostly that most of the men are not inherently bad people. A lot of them are just lonely. They just need some help, really.
Okay.
I do agree with that. Like I mentioned earlier, being an incel must be a very lonely and isolating spot to be in. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your choices and your reactions to the world. If hating women and subscribing to a misogynistic ideology is your go-to response after you've been rejected by a couple women throughout your life, then you need to do some self-reflection. I saw this quote on Twitter a while back, so I can't take credit for this statement, but basically, to paraphrase what this person said, your trauma isn't your fault, but it's your responsibility to heal and grow from it. You can't blame him for being sad about being rejected throughout the years. However, it's his responsibility at the end of the day to deal with those feelings in a healthy way.
You don't want to be an incel?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's part of the whole involuntarily thing. I mean, you know, you want to try and escape it. You want to be something better.
In order for him to do better, personally, I would recommend not comparing women to children. I mean, I think that's a pretty good start. And just in general, don't act like women owe you anything, because we really don't.
What's one thing you wish people understood better about you?
I don't know. I guess I wish people would recognize how much effort I'm trying, I suppose. Like, you know, I'm working out typically daily. I've lost over 100 pounds. I'm out there job hunting actively. I don't think people recognize how much effort the incels in general try to put into bettering themselves.
Listen, losing that much weight is a very great accomplishment. Congrats to you, Derek. Even if you say that you're trying to make yourselves better, your movement is still breeding contempt for the women around you. Your community is projecting their problems onto women, and not only is that very childish, that's also very dangerous.
I would say, you know, people don't recognize their effort. They just assume that they're all like lazy and sad and angry at women and just giving up and things of that nature, I suppose.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that a lot of incels do have anger towards women. I mean, you're subscribing to radical misogynistic ideas that sometimes can and do promote violence against the group of people you supposedly want to date.
So you do have hope?
Yeah, I have hope, yeah. I'm a very hopeful person, I suppose.
I won't lie, this went a lot differently than I thought it would. I thought we'd be yelling at each other, you know?
It was nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much.
This video ended a lot differently than I thought it was going to, but I think what we can take away from this video is that it's important to address your pain and trauma so that you don't project it onto others. And that seems like the basis of what the incel community is. To be honest, I was feeling a very little tiny sliver bit of sympathy for Derek until I found out this next piece of information. So this video was uploaded in November 2019, and in 2020, Derek actually got into a long-distance relationship with a girl from Australia. They broke up in September, and in retaliation, Derek leaked his ex's nudes and threatened to kill himself. He didn't go through with it though. He made an update on his YouTube channel a couple weeks ago, but yeah, Derek, revenge porn is never okay. So yeah, that's that. Someone actually sent me another Jubilee video that he's in called Men's Rights versus Women's Rights, I believe. So if you want to see me react to that in the future, please let me know down below. If there's a video topic in general you want me to do, I have a Google form in the description down below, so make sure you submit your idea to there. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below. And yeah, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye!